So Niels, PFLA had come up with a series of tests that farmers and scientists liked and looked to be helpful. And Niels wanted to bring that into the field and get some farmers using it. But one of the issues was how to kind of record the observations and be systematic about it so that you could come back in 6 months' time and talk about what you've seen last time. And that was where I came in, and we built an app around that allows you to easily record the observations as you go and kind of build up a diary and start to see those trends in graphs over time. So that's kind of how we got here. It's called Sectormentor for soils, and we have put together, along with the PFLA, a recommendation of many different soil tests on the website. That's totally free. Anyone can go on there and look at the guidelines for each test. And they're purposely low cost. So I've literally brought my kitchen bowl and my kitchen sieves today from a London kitchen. So come park. But the idea of all the tests is that you really should be able to go out and just do them yourself and have a go. So today, it's actually a bit experimental today because we've just updated, so maybe you guys have heard of the SLAKE test, or water aggregate stability test. And so we've just started working with a lady called Jenny Dungate. She's come on as the soil health expert, and she's kind of advising us on a new SLAKE test protocol that she used in her research with farmers. So today is my first time doing it, so hopefully it works. Or we can give feedback on what works and doesn't work. So you can see we took some from the hedgerow here, some soil from the hedgerow, and then some from the field just over there. And first off, I'm just going to put the soil from the field. We just took 3 little globs of soil, never know what to call them at this point. And the whole idea is you just immerse them in the water fully, and then you literally just let them sit there. They recommend for 5 minutes. We're not going to just sit here and watch for 5 minutes. I'm going to pass over to Niels in a second. But the thing you look at for those 5 minutes is how do the aggregates start to break down, essentially. And not that much yet, but just towards the end, well, I'll show you what we do towards the end of the 5 minutes in a second. I'm going to hand over to Niels and to talk a little bit about the theory.
Great, yeah, thanks for that. So I work with these sort of framework called the soil health principles. So I've got some cards here, sort of enough for one between 2, so you can pass them around if there is extra. So what we're looking at here is we're using kind of one kind of indicator as a sort of master indicator for general soil health, if you like, and in this case we use the term soil aggregation, and aggregation is the process of binding together disparate soil particles by sticky substances, gels, slimes, Baltic glues that are secreted by microorganisms, basically. So it's an indicator of biological life because it's a direct byproduct of that. And what we're trying to do basically is differentiate that type of structure from a kind of physical structure where the soil particles are bonded together in kind of a crystal structure. So it's a strong and tight bond, but also very brittle, basically. So the idea is that when you place the samples in water, you subject them to like a kind of hydrostatic force, which serves to break open the particles, and if they have an elasticity to them, they're able to withstand those forces, basically. If they're mostly held together with physical bonds, they tend to what's called slake, basically. They tend to break down or degrade. So we can say that it's an indicator of soil health, and it's an immediate or kind of visual indicator. And with regards to the farmer, what it's really there for is it gives you the ability to measure success of a particular practice or a trial that you're running, for example. So tests like this can be used to indicate whether you're on the right track, basically. Your results should start to improve over time. If there's any spares, you can hand them around.
Okay, so I just took a quick, so one of the things we encourage with the app is to take a photo at the beginning, see what it looks like, and then a photo at the end. So Okay, well, you're meant to leave it longer, but we'll just go for it. So the next thing you're meant to do is just move it up and down quite vigorously for about 15 seconds. And then you score it based on how much of the original particles are left, or the original clods are left in structure. And you can see there, those broke down quite significantly. I mean, maybe Lizzie, you have some thoughts on this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way of looking at your aggregate stability, and those aggregates stayed together for most of that time. I've seen ones done where you put the aggregates into water and they disperse straight away.
Yeah,
so
they were pretty good.
You probably don't have such a big contrast, but in poorly structured soils you can really see a visual effect quite quickly.
Yeah. Exactly. And so one of the reasons we are trialing this new protocol is because it's got a more nuanced scoring scale, because a lot of slate tests are just scored from 1 to 3, and the feedback I was getting from farmers is like, that's not enough. Everything ends up 2. I need more nuance than that. So this scoring is from a USDA based scoring system, and it goes from 3 to 11. That's why. But that's what it does. But the point is it allows you to start to analyze a little more, with a bit more, you can see from year to year how things actually change. So I think that's really interesting. And I guess, well, you can look on the website to see what the scoring protocol is. But this one, yeah, it's like quite a lot of breakdown after the initial putting in, but not as bad as you can get. And then this is the soils from the surrounding hedges. And obviously you would expect these to break down less after being immersed in water for a bit of time. Do you want to carry on talking about how, so obviously it's all very well having your soil monitored and you know now your health score, but then what?
Excuse me, are you starting with water and soil at the same temperature? And is that critical? Because to me, if it's...
No, it doesn't matter.
It's not critical.
No.
The only thing that...
I just thought warm water will break the soil down quicker and
yeah,
aggregates will break out.
it's surprising how little those kinds of things matter, because like I was on my family's farm in Chile and it was the middle of summer, and I thought that because the soil was so dry that would make a massive difference. But even the wet soils dry, everything seemed to react immediately. You could tell if it was going to break down or not. It was pretty obvious. I guess maybe if we're doing a more nuanced scale it will, I don't know. That's something to ask Jenny. Good question.
Would presumably your clay content will make a big difference to us?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. So the important thing when running these kind of tests is to try and eliminate variables. So this is where putting in side-by-side trials really comes into its own, basically. If you're testing radically different soil types with the same management, then you could generally say that you're looking at a soil texture result. If you're looking at the same management structure across 2 different soil types, then you could also be just looking at the soil type. So it's ideal to be able to eliminate that variable. So this is why we're looking at 2 different management strategies from the same space ultimately. But I think it's important to know that the slate test is just a proxy for aggregate stability and soil health. So it's a good indicator. It's not actually soil health. But one of the things that I have noted from doing some of the other sort of column tests with these, so some testing side by side till, no till and forest soil, in this case all from Andrew Howard's, so it's very gratefully donated, and sort of in order of scores, kind of the till, the no till and the forest soil are on a kind of almost like an exponential scale, and that basically the till tends to break down almost immediately or significantly. The no-till sort of holds together, but there is a degree of breakdown. But when you come to lift it out of the water, it just disintegrates. Whereas the forest soil, you can take it out, re-dry it, put it back in, take it out, put it out, re-dry it, and when you look at it, it doesn't visually look necessarily. It's not like super dark, super rich. Its colour doesn't vary significantly, but its performance is profound. Yeah, and it's the only one that you can actually literally take out, dry it down, put it back again, and like remote. The other thing that is worth noting that is when you're handling that size of the soil, the similar volume, you should often notice a difference in the weight. So if you're able to sort of like extract a section of soil that's a similar size, again with two different management practices, and one feels lighter than the other, same soil type, same field, two different management practices, you can generally infer from that you've got a higher porosity, lower bulk density, and better soil health.
Wind up on this one
very
because
sorry.
we've got Christine's got to go to the airport and we're aware of the finish time. So could you just kind of show the?
Okay, I mean, we'll see what happens. I put. It's
Yeah, they're
breaking
more
down
stable.
hardly,
More stable.
way more stable than that.
Okay.
So it's even, yeah, like you can see the nuance scoring will make a difference even for soils that are both relatively good on the scale of things. So and it's just such an easy test to do. So if you want to know more about, I have cards with the website on, if you want to know more you can come get them from me.